Have you ever had one of those health issues that, well, it didn't hit you all at once, like some kind of accident? It sort of crept up on you,
Uh-huh.
developing slowly, maybe over months or even years, because it's something you do at work.
It happens more often than you'd think.
Yeah, like that nagging back pain from lifting, day after day, or maybe a cough that just won't go away, and you start thinking, is this the workplace?
Exactly. And dealing with the health issue itself is tough enough.
Right. But then you throw in trying to figure out all the official paperwork and processes on top of feeling unwell. It can feel, frankly, overwhelming.
It really can. It's a common scenario for federal employees, and just looking at the forms and rules, it's a lot. You wonder where to even start.
Precisely. So that's what we're diving into today. Our mission here is to be your essential guide. We want to help you understand and successfully file Federal Form CA-2, the one for occupational diseases.
We're aiming to cut through that complexity.
Yeah, cut through the noise, pull out the really critical bits of wisdom from all the source material out there, and give you a clear step-by-step roadmap.
We'll look at the crucial difference between occupational diseases and traumatic injuries. That's Form CA-1 versus CA-2.
And walk you through the whole ECOMP fee filing process online.
Pinpoint the information that absolutely has to be accurate.
And importantly, flag those common mistakes, the pitfalls that can really derail your claim.
Right. And this deep dive, it's built on solid sources. We're talking official Department of Labor OWCP forms, the detailed ECOMP guides, plus, invaluable insights from people who have actually navigated these claims successfully many times.
So the goal is to pull out the most important nuggets, maybe even some surprising facts, to help you feel informed, feel confident, and turn what looks like bureaucratic jargon into something you can actually use.
Actionable knowledge. That's the aim.
Okay, let's jump in. Before we even touch Form CA-2 itself, the very first thing, maybe the most crucial step, is making absolutely sure you're filing the right form. Why is that distinction, CA-1 versus CA-2, so incredibly important right at the start?
Well, that's a foundational question, really, because picking the wrong form, it can set you back significantly. We're talking major delays, lots of frustration.
Okay.
And the core difference, the thing that often trips people up, is fascinating. Form CA-2, which is our focus, is for conditions that develop over time because of your work.
Over time, okay.
Think cumulative injury. Or illness.
Yeah.
Things like, say, carpal tunnel from doing the same motion over and over, or maybe a respiratory issue from being exposed to chemicals day in, day out. It's gradual, a slow burn, you could say.
Got it. So if my back pain just slowly got worse over, years of lifting mailbags,
Yeah.
that's definitely a CA-2. Makes perfect sense.
Precisely, whereas Form CA-1, that's for traumatic injuries. Those result from a single work incident,
Oh,
a
yeah.
specific event. Yes. Even if the symptoms don't pop up for a few days. If the event itself was singular, it's a CA-1. So, you twist your ankle getting out of a government vehicle. That's a CA-1.
Okay.
Getting this right up front saves a ton of headaches later.
That really clarifies that first hurdle.
Right.
So let's say you suspect you have an occupational disease. You're pretty sure it fits the CA-2 description. What are the very first things you, as the employee, should actually do?
Right. Well, the immediate priority. Notify your supervisor. As soon as you realize, hey, this condition might be work-related, let them know.
Even though it's not like an immediate injury claim.
Exactly. Even though CA-2 claims don't usually come with things like continuation of pay right away, notifying your supervisor creates an official record that you are aware of the issue. That's important.
Okay, notification first. Then what?
Then, and this is key, before you even log into the ECOMP system, gather your information. All of it.
Like what specifically?
Your personal details, obviously social security number, address, your federal job specifics agency, duty station, your job title, and crucially, your pay grade and step. But here's the really vital part for a CA-2. The specifics about your condition.
The medical side.
Yes. When did the symptoms actually start? When did you first connect it to your work? What specific work factors do you think caused it? Which doctors have you seen? Having all that ready beforehand makes the online filing process remarkably smoother, less frantic searching for details while the system's waiting.
That's a really solid pre-flight checklist. Anything else before actually hitting the ECOMP website?
Just one potential extra step. Some agencies, USPS and DHS, are common examples. They might require you to fill out an OSHA 301 incident report inside ECOMP before you can even start the CA-2.
Oh, okay. How do you know if that applies?
ECOMP will usually prompt you if it's needed for your agency. If it pops up, just complete that report first. It's generally pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Then you can move on to the CA-2. If you don't get prompted, you're good to go straight to the CA-2.
All right. Prep work done. We know it's a CA-2. Let's talk about the digital gateway itself. ECOMP.gov. How do you get started there?
Right, ECOMP.gov. That's the Employees' Compensation Operations and Management portal. It's where it all happens online. First step, naturally, is either creating an account if you're new or just logging in if you already have one.
Standard stuff. Valid email, verify it.
Exactly. Once you're in, you'll land on your employee dashboard. That shows any claims you already have or forms you might have started and saved.
Okay.
To start this new claim, you'll click something like New Claim or Get Started, File a Form. Then, and this is crucial, make sure you specifically choose Form CA-2, Occupational Disease.
Don't accidentally click CA-1.
Right. The system might even give you a little reminder right there about the difference, which is helpful. Final step before getting into the details, accurately select your specific government agency and your duty station from the menus. That ensures your claim gets routed correctly.
Okay, now we're really getting into the meat of it. This is where you start inputting the details, telling your story to the system. What key information about yourself and your condition goes in first?
This section, it basically mirrors items 1 through 14 on the old paper CA-2 form. And accuracy here is just paramount.
Items 1 to 10 cover personal and job info.
That's right. Your full legal name, an email for updates, your 9-digit social security number. Please double check that SSN.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Easy typo to make.
It is. Then your date of birth, sex, home phone number. Now here's a subtle but really critical detail, often missed. Item 6, your federal pay grade and step. ECOMP asks for the grade and step you held as of the date of your last exposure to the work conditions you believe caused the illness.
Ah, not your current grade and step.
Correct. If you've been promoted since your exposure period, this could be different from what you make now. It's a classic OWCP detail.
That's definitely something to flag. Good catch. What else in this section?
Your current home mailing address, naturally. And item 8, accurately list your dependents. ECOMP might default this to none, but dependents can affect certain benefits down the line, so make sure it's correct.
Okay.
Then item 9 is your official occupation or job title, and item 10 is the specific location facility name, full address, where you worked when the disease occurred or the exposure happened.
Got it. Any ECOMP-specific tips here?
Yeah, just remember that even if some fields are pre-filled, maybe from your HR data, always review them carefully. Don't assume they're right. And double check your supervisor's email address is correct in the system. That's usually how the claim gets routed to them for their part.
Okay, that covers the basics. Now let's dive into the core illness details. You said that's items 11 through 14, where you really start explaining the condition itself.
Exactly. This is truly the heart of your claim story. Item 11 asks for the date you first became aware of the disease or illness.
Just when you first noticed symptoms, even if you didn't know why.
Precisely. Even if you hadn't connected it to work yet, just use the MMDDYYYY format. Then comes item 12, and this date is arguably the most critical one on the form.
Okay, what is it?
It's the date you first realized the disease or illness was caused or aggravated by your employment. This is your moment of understanding, the point you connected the dots between your health and your job.
How do you determine that date? Is it just when you thought it might be work?
It often aligns with something more concrete, like a doctor explicitly telling you, yes, this condition is likely due to your work, or the date of a medical report confirming that link. We strongly recommend using the date of that key medical report or the doctor's visit where the connection was made clear.
So it's less subjective, more tied to that medical confirmation, the aha moment backed up.
Exactly. That gives it objective footing. Next, item 13 asks for an explanation of the relationship to your employment. This is a concise summary.
Just a summary, not the full story yet.
Right. Think of it as the executive summary. How did your job cause or worsen the condition? And why did you realize it when you did? Referencing item 12. Mention specific work factors lifting, chemicals, repetitive motions, maybe even specific stressors. But keep it brief here. Your detailed narrative comes later as a separate document.
Okay, summary in item 13. What's item 14?
Item 14 is the nature of the disease or illness. Basically, your diagnosis. Use medical terms if you know them. Be specific.
So not just bad knee.
Definitely not. Something like tendinitis of the right elbow or occupational asthma aggravated by workplace dust. The more specific, the better.
All right, we've filled out the main body of the form electronically. But you mentioned timing and supporting documents are huge. What do we need to know there to avoid those frustrating delays? Items 15 to 17, right?
Yes, and this is where many claims stumble. Timeliness and proper documentation. Item 15 directly addresses this. It asks, if your notice, basically the CA-2 form wasn't filed within 30 days of that critical date in item 12, when you realize the work connection, you must explain the delay.
Even though there's like a 3-year limit overall.
Correct. There's a general 3-year statute of limitations for filing OWCP claims, but if you're filing more than 30 days after realizing the work connection, item 12, OWCP wants to know why. An unexplained delay past 30 days raises red flags.
What are valid reasons?
Oh, things like waiting for a specialist report, maybe you were unaware of the process, perhaps you were trying conservative treatment first. Just be honest and clear. If you are filing within those 30 days, you can simply put NA or not applicable.
So transparency is key. If you're past that 30-day mark from realization, what about item 16?
Item 16 asks why the employee's statement, that narrative we mentioned, isn't submitted with the form. And the simple answer here is, it really should be. You must attach a separate, detailed narrative.
So if it's not attached?
You have to explain why it's missing and, crucially, state when it will be submitted. But honestly, the strongest recommendation is always submit it with the CA-2. Treat it as part of the initial package.
Makes sense. Get it all in at once. And item 17 sounds similar for medical reports.
Exactly the same principle. If the medical reports supporting your claim aren't submitted with the CA-2, you must explain why and when you expect to send them. But let me be crystal clear. Your claim will not be approved without sufficient medical evidence. So, while you might need to explain a short delay in getting a report, you absolutely must follow up and ensure OWCP receives it.
Okay. That separate narrative statement you keep emphasizing, it sounds like that's your big chance to really lay out your case. What makes for a compelling, effective narrative for the claims examiner?
You've got it. This is where you connect all the dots. You paint the picture for the claims examiner, who, remember, probably knows very little about the specifics of your job.
So it needs to be clear and detailed.
Extremely. It should be a separate document, usually 1 to 3 typed pages is good, and it needs to describe in detail how your specific work duties caused or aggravated your condition.
What kind of details are we talking about?
A timeline, the history of the illness. Specific work conditions or exposures don't just say heavy lifting. Say, lifting boxes weighing 50, 75 pounds, approximately 30-40 times per shift, 5 days a week. Mention the equipment, the exact motions, the frequency, the duration, the weights.
Quantify everything.
Yes, quantify as much as possible. Clearly identify the affected body part or parts. Use lay terms like my right knee or my left shoulder. Be specific about left or right. Then explain how those quantified work factors led to your medical issue, linking them to what your doctor found.
What about previous injuries or outside activities?
Be honest. If you had a prior similar condition, mention it, but explain how it resolved. Briefly mention relevant outside activities if they exist. Just provide a full, transparent picture. You want to show you're not hiding anything.
So the goal is basically to educate the examiner about your job's demands and the direct link to your injury using clear language.
Precisely. Plain language is best. Define any technical terms related to your job. Now, let's talk about the medical report. This is, well, it's absolutely critical. It is, astonishingly, the #1 reason claims get denied: insufficient medical evidence.
Wow, #1. So what does a sufficient report look like?
It needs to come from your treating doctor. Ideally, find a physician who understands OWCP's specific needs, maybe an occupational health specialist, but your regular doctor can do it if they understand the requirements.
And what must be in that report?
Okay, several key things. Dates of examination and treatment. A thorough history of the condition, basically what you told the doctor. Objective physical findings and test results, things they can measure or see, like x-rays, MRIs, range of motion scores, positive test results.
The hard evidence.
Exactly. A clear diagnosis stated in specific medical terms, again, not just knee pain, but medial meniscal tear of the right knee.
Got it.
The treatment given or what's planned, and now the absolute linchpin, the part that makes or breaks the medical evidence.
Okay, I'm ready.
The doctor's medical opinion on work causation. The report must contain a statement like this. In my medical opinion, within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, the patient's exposure to specific factor, for example, cleaning solvents or repetitive specific motion, e.g. keyboarding at work, caused or significantly aggravated their diagnosed specific condition, e.g. bilateral carpal tunnel syndrome.
That exact phrasing, or something very close.
Something very close that clearly states the opinion, the level of certainty, the specific work factor, and the specific diagnosis, and crucially, whether it caused or aggravated it. But that's not all.
There's more.
Yes.
Yeah.
The doctor must explain their reasoning. They need to connect the dots explicitly, linking the specific work factors you described in your narrative, which ideally you've shared with them, to their medical findings. A simple conclusion like work caused it with no explanation is not enough for OWCP.
Wow. They need the why.
They need the why. The medical certainty should be at least more likely than not, and the report itself needs to be signed, dated on the doctor's letterhead, and submitted ideally as a detailed narrative report, not just a checkbox form. PDF upload works great in ECOMP.
That is a lot of detail, but it makes complete sense why OWCP needs it to approve a claim based on a gradual onset. Okay. So you've painstakingly prepared your narrative. You've worked with your doctor to get that super detailed report. How do you actually pull the trigger and submit everything in ECOMP?
Right. After all that careful prep, the actual submission in ECOMP is fairly straightforward, thankfully. You'll get to the employee certification section, which corresponds to item 18. Read that text carefully.
What are you certifying?
You're confirming everything you put down is true to the best of your knowledge, that the illness resulted from your federal job and not, say, willful misconduct. You're also giving OWCP permission to get necessary medical records related to the claim.
Okay. Standard legal stuff. Then you sign.
You sign digitally, usually by checking a box or clicking a button like Sign and File after you've reviewed everything on that page. Just be aware that sometimes signing isn't the absolute final step. There might be another Submit button on the next screen. Watch out for that.
Good tip. Don't sign and walk away. Make sure it's actually submitted.
Exactly. ECOMP will then prompt you to upload your supporting documents. This is where you attach your narrative file and that crucial medical report file. PDF or Word usually works best.
Can you add other things, like witness statements?
Absolutely. If you have witness statements or other relevant documents, you can usually attach those here too. While it's possible to upload more documents later after you have a case number, it's always best to include everything you have ready right at the beginning. It prevents delays.
Okay, attachments uploaded. What's next?
Before that final click, ECOMP typically gives you a summary page. Review every single field. Check for typos, check the SSN again, check the dates, check the spelling of your condition and your doctor's name. Use the Edit button if you spot any mistakes.
Last chance check.
Precisely. Once you are completely satisfied that everything is accurate and complete, you'll hit that final Sign and File or Submit button to officially send it off.
And then .relief. What confirmation do you get?
You should see a confirmation screen in ECOMP that includes an ECOMP control number, or ECN. Save that number. It's your initial tracking ID. You can usually also download a PDF copy of your submitted CA-2 right then and there. Definitely do that for your records.
Okay, save the ECN, save the PDF. Does ECOMP notify you about next steps?
Yes, you should receive email notifications. Typically one when your claim is electronically forwarded to your supervisor for their part, and then another later when the agency formally transmits it to OWCP.
All right, so you've hit submit, taken that deep breath, saved your confirmation. But the journey isn't over yet, right? What happens behind the scenes after you file, and what should you be prepared for in the coming weeks and maybe months?
That's right. The administrative phase begins. And understanding this part helps manage expectations because things don't happen instantly. First, ECOMP automatically emails your supervisor or maybe a designated agency point of contact.
For their part of the form.
Exactly. They need to complete their section of the CA-2, which covers items 19 through 34. This includes things like your work schedule, the date you first reported the condition to them, any dates you stopped work because of it, and confirming your last date of exposure to the harmful work conditions. Then they electronically sign off.
Okay, supervisor signs off. Then where does it go?
Usually it goes to someone often called an agency reviewer or maybe a workers' comp specialist within your agency's HR or safety office. They do a final check, add some internal codes, make sure everything looks complete before it goes to the big leagues OWCP.
Is there still a paper component?
Often, yes, for agency records. Even though you filed electronically, your agency will likely print the completed form and ask both you and your supervisor to physically sign the hard copy for their internal files.
Got it. So once the agency reviewer is happy, then it goes to OWCP.
Then they electronically forward the whole package to the Office of Workers' Compensation Programs, OWCP. Once OWCP receives it, they create an official case file and assign it a unique case number. These often start with letters like MD or OW, followed by 9 digits.
And they tell you this number.
Yes, OWCP will send you a formal notification letter by mail. This letter will have your official case number and usually the contact information for the claims examiner assigned to your case. Agencies are supposed to forward claims to OWCP within 10 working days of receiving them from the supervisor, but, well, that timeline can vary in reality.
So once you get that official OWCP case number in the mail, that's your key identifier moving forward.
Absolutely. That OWCP case number is golden. Use it whenever you communicate with OWCP. You can use it to track the status of your claim through the ECOMP portal, or if you call or write to OWCP.
What should you expect after that? Smooth sailing.
Not always, especially with occupational disease claims. Be prepared to potentially receive development letters from your claims examiner.
Development letters. What are those?
These are requests for more information or clarification. Maybe the medical report wasn't detailed enough on causation. Maybe they need more specifics about your job duties. Maybe a date was inconsistent. It's crucial, absolutely crucial to respond to these letters promptly.
Yeah, promptly.
They usually give you a deadline, typically 30 days. Respond fully by that deadline, or if you need more time, like waiting for another doctor's appointment, proactively request an extension before the deadline hits. Not responding is a fast track to denial.
Okay, respond to development letters. What about the overall timeline for a decision?
Patience is key here. Occupational disease claims are inherently more complex than simple traumatic injuries. They are not decided overnight. A relatively straightforward case might take, say, a month or two after OWCP gets everything. But many take several months. OWCP's internal goal is often cited as 90 to 180 days, but complex cases can take longer. They need time for thorough review, especially of the medical evidence.
And during that waiting period?
Keep submitting any relevant new medical reports to your case file. Don't just wait. If you have follow-up appointments or new test results that strengthen your claim, get those sent to OWCP with your case number on them.
Now, you mentioned this earlier, but let's hammer it home. Unlike a CA-1 for a traumatic injury, there's no continuation of pay, or COP, for a CA-2 claim while it's pending, correct?
That is a vital distinction. Absolutely correct. CA-2 claims for occupational diseases do not provide continuation of pay. If your condition forces you to miss work while the claim is being decided, you have to use your own leave, sick leave, annual leave.
Or go without pay.
Or go on leave without pay, LWOP. If you're on LWPP, you can claim wage loss compensation later using a separate form, the CA-7, but that's only after OWCP has officially accepted your CA-2 claim. You can't get those wage loss benefits while the underlying CA-2 is still pending.
Wow, that puts a lot of pressure on the employee financially while waiting.
It certainly can. It's a significant difference from CA-1 claims.
Okay, this whole process, it's undeniably intricate. You've walked us through the steps brilliantly, but let's talk about where things often go wrong. What are the biggest mistakes you see people make? The things our listeners should absolutely try to avoid to boost their chances of getting that claim approved.
Right. Knowing the common pitfalls is half the battle. And by avoiding them, you really do increase your odds significantly. First, as we started with, filing the wrong type of claim. Mixing up CA-1 and CA-2. When in doubt, ask, clarify, don't just guess.
Okay, fundamental error number 1. What's next?
The number one reason for delays or outright denial, a sparse or vague narrative statement. Seriously, just writing, my job caused my injury, or lifting boxes hurt my back is never, ever enough.
Needs that detail we talked about.
It needs the detail, specific tasks, the frequency, the duration, the weights, exactly how you believe those factors caused or aggravated your specific condition. You have to connect the dots for the examiner.
And the medical evidence. You said that was the other big one.
Absolutely. Lack of a strong, well-reasoned medical opinion connecting the work to the diagnosis. That's the number 2 reason for denial. Your doctor must clearly link your specific diagnosis to your specific work duties, explain their reasoning, and state their opinion with medical certainty. A vague note just won't cut it. You might need to have a specific conversation with your doctor about OWCP's requirements.
So, weak narrative, weak medicals. What else trips people up?
Not submitting the required documents up front, filing the CA-2 form naked without the narrative and the medical report. That almost guarantees delays because OWCP will just have to send a development letter asking for them. Treat it as a package deal from the start.
Makes sense. Get it all in together.
Also, those seemingly small errors on the form itself. A wrong digit in the SSN, inconsistent dates between the form and your reports, misspelling your agency name or your condition. These can cause surprising complications and delays. Double, triple check everything before you hit submit. Consistency across all your documents is key.
And that 30-day window for filing after realizing the work connection.
Yes, filing late meaning more than 30 days after the date in item 12 without providing a clear explanation in item 15. That's another common pitfall. If you're past 30 days, always explain why. Don't leave it blank.
What about things outside the employee's direct control, like supervisor delays?
That's a tricky one. It's not technically your mistake, but it affects your claim, so you need to be proactive. Follow up politely but persistently with your supervisor if things seem stalled. If there are significant delays in them completing their part or the agency forwarding it, don't be afraid to involve your HR department or your union rep if you have one. You have a right to have your claim filed and processed.
Good advice. Be your own advocate. Any other common mistakes?
For claims involving exposure chemicals, fumes, dust, noise, and insufficient description of the exposure levels, quantify it whenever possible. Work 3 hours per day, 5 days a week in a poorly ventilated room with chemical X is vastly stronger than just saying sometimes exposed to chemical.
Be specific. Be quantitative.
And once the claim is filed, ignoring OWCP's request, we talked about development letters, you must respond fully and on time or request that extension. Non-response equals denial. It's that simple.
Okay, final pitfall.
A really basic one, but surprisingly common. Not keeping your own copies of everything. Maintain a complete personal file. Keep a copy of the submitted CA-2 form, your narrative, every single medical report, every letter from OWCP, every response you send. Keep notes of phone calls, date, time, who you spoke with, what was said. This file is your personal safety net, your proof, your history. Don't rely solely on the agency or OWCP to have everything.
That is incredibly thorough advice. Build your own case file. Okay, this process, as we've established, sounds incredibly detailed. It sounds, frankly, overwhelming, especially when you're the one who's sick or injured. Is there professional support available, people who can help you navigate this bureaucratic maze?
You know, if we step back and look at the big picture, the sheer complexity we've just discussed is precisely why specialized support can be, well, a game changer for many people.
How so? What kind of support?
What's often overlooked is that there are medical clinics or sometimes case management services that specialize specifically in federal workers' compensation cases. They understand OWCP. They can provide really comprehensive, sometimes people call it white glove support.
White glove, meaning they handle a lot of it for you.
In a way, yes. They often act as both your medical provider and as your knowledgeable guide, your advocate through the whole administrative jungle.
So they bridge that gap between the medical side treating your condition and the complicated paperwork side. That sounds incredibly valuable.
It really is. Think about what they can offer. Initial guidance just confirming, yes, a CA-2 is the right path, maybe helping you get registered on ECOMP if you're having trouble.
Okay, starting point help.
Then actually helping you complete the CA-2 form itself, walking you through each field, catching those common errors we talked about before they cause delays.
Preventing mistakes up front.
Exactly. And a huge benefit. Helping you craft that crucial narrative statement, helping you articulate your work duties and exposure in the kind of detailed OWCP-friendly language we discussed, making sure you include the frequency, the weights, the durations, helping you tell your story compellingly.
Making sure the narrative hits all the right notes for the examiner.
Precisely. And perhaps most importantly, ensuring you have strong medical evidence. These specialized places often have physicians on staff or work closely with the doctors who are credentialed with the Department of Labor. They know OWCP's requirements inside and out.
So they know how to write that critical causation report.
Yes, they understand the need for that specific causation language, the need to explain the reasoning, the need to explicitly link your condition to your job duties. They ensure the doctor's report basically speaks OWCP's language, directly addressing that number 2 reason for denial we keep mentioning.
Wow. Getting that doctor's report right sounds absolutely foundational. Having someone who knows exactly how OWCP needs it phrased seems like a massive advantage.
It truly is. It removes so much guesswork and potential for error, but they often do more.
Like what else?
Like conducting a pre-submission review. They'll look over the entire package, the completed form, your narrative, the doctor's report checking for consistency, completeness, any red flags before it even gets filed.
Quality control?
Quality control, exactly. They can assist with the actual ECOMP submission process, track the claim status for you, even gently nudge supervisors or agency reviewers if things seem stuck.
So they help manage the process after filing, too.
Yes, and if those development letters come from OWCP asking for more info, they can help you understand what's needed and formulate a proper response, sometimes even communicating directly with your claims examiner on your behalf, with your permission, of course.
That sounds like having a personal claim concierge.
That's a great way to put it. They help keep track of deadlines, advise you on managing your sick leave or LWOP, help navigate those agency bottlenecks. They basically try to ensure you don't miss any crucial steps.
What if, despite all that, a claim is denied?
If a claim is initially denied, they can help analyze why, strengthen the case with additional evidence if needed, and guide you through the reconsideration process. And if it gets really complex, they can often connect you with attorneys who specialize specifically in OWCP appeals.
The idea of having someone knowledgeable just handle that whole administrative nightmare, letting you focus on actually getting better, that sounds like an enormous weight lifted off your shoulders.
It absolutely is for many people. Being injured or ill is challenging enough. You really shouldn't have to become an expert in complex federal regulations overnight just to get the benefits you might be entitled to.
Well, this deep dive has certainly shown us that filing a federal Form CA-2 for an occupational disease is, without a doubt, a meticulous process. There are a lot of details.
There are.
But by really understanding each step, by providing that detailed, consistent information, and especially by assembling those strong supporting documents, the narrative and the medical report, you really can significantly increase your chances of success.
Absolutely. And hopefully you, the listener, now feel equipped with the knowledge to navigate this system more confidently and, importantly, avoid those common pitfalls that trip so many people up.
Yeah, this conversation really underscored that tackling these complex systems like OWCP, it demands both that careful attention to detail and some persistent self-advocacy.
It does. And, it's truly empowering, isn't it, to be thoroughly informed, not just about what you need to do, but why each specific step, each piece of information really matters.
It really is. And maybe, just maybe, it makes you wonder what other areas of your life, those other seemingly impenetrable systems or confusing processes you encounter, could benefit from a similar deep dive approach. Taking the time to really understand could unlock clarity and empower action